Like, my parents did the best they could, but it was definitely a bit of a dysfunctional family. My dad was heavy on the antidepressants and pills and that type of thing, and he was in and out of hospital, getting taken away by the police. Experienced a bit of like self-harm. I was just a piece of crap. When I was 13, that's when I got back from a camp, and that's when my dad killed himself. It was like a bubble sort of burst in me, and I used to think God was like this angry guy. I was very depressed, very confused, angry at God, like such an intense hatred towards God, because I was like, why would you let this happen to my dad? I started getting involved in drugs, crime, and just in and out of juvie, locked up. I thought I was just going to get to 35 and kill myself. I basically got on the meth one time. God took his hand off and hell opened up. Peter, Lynn and James from Shalom House. Well, I called him up the first time and he's like, mate, you sound cooked. Go have a feed, go have a sleep, and call me up once you've sobered up a bit. And I was just learning about who Jesus was, seeing these people that were talking about Jesus, talking about God, but in a loving way. So man, I was like, no, who is this Jesus?
So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for David Troy.
Hello, welcome to What God Has Done, brought to you by the Christian Journal Co. My name is Susan Zapier. I'm excited to be your host today. I'm here with Toby Zapier.
Yes, and I'll be your host also. But we're gathered here today with a mighty man of God. He's been following Jesus for 6 years now.
Yeah.
He is involved in entrepreneurship mentor program, and he's kicking goals. I actually love this human being because we've just got along straight away when we met each other back in Perth. He's come to Melbourne. So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for David Troy.
How you doing, guys?
G'day. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's awesome.
That's so good.
Yeah.
So what's been happening, man?
Oh, mate. What's been happening? So we just had our baby girl 3 months ago.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And it's just been, it's been a blessing, big time blessing.
Yeah.
Like, that like a lot of new perspective on life, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Like a lot of definitely a reason to get out there and kick some butt.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been very good. And so we just come out for the weekend for entrepreneurship, like a leadership event.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's been a big burn for us, because 4 weeks ago we were able to replace my wife's income, and then sort of I'll be able to replace my income in about a year and a half. Just with the way we're tracking, and it's been such an experience, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah.
And is this a Christian-based kind of mentorship program and entrepreneurship, or?
Well, funny enough, it's actually not. It's basically anyone can be a part of the entrepreneurship community.
Yeah.
But primarily, most of the leaders, funny enough, are actually Christian.
Wow.
So it just goes to show that faith-based principles is Christian principles, Christian living actually can bring success.
Yeah. Well, Jesus is the greatest leader, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
If we look to the scripture, all leadership principles really come from
100%.
the words of Jesus.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, even self-development, you think of that's Christian-based,
Yeah, absolutely.
Like reap what you sow, affirmations, the power of your words, how you think, what you think is what you become. That's who you are. It's incredible.
Absolutely, yeah. It's all Christian values, isn't it?
It's
all in the Bible.
Yeah.
It's not in the book called The Secret.
No, it's not a secret.
It's not a secret.
If there's people listening or viewing this and they've got a book, The Secret, and you think, wow, these principles are so awesome. Just to let you know, FYI, it's all in the Bible, friend.
It's all in
the Bible. So you guys have like a Sunday, you have like a worship thing to kind of bring people like a evangelistic event, part of this.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. So the weekend is the leadership event, and then what they do is on the leading up to the Sunday, they say, okay, if you want to know the secret sauce, if you want to, find out how we became successful, how we got to where we are, then come to Sunday tomorrow morning, and we'll tell you all about it. And then that's when people go, oh man, I want to know the source. I want to, how do these guys do it? How do they get there? And then boom, they just get hit with a bit of worship and just Jesus gets them, and then they have the altar call and they go, oh, if your heart's been moved, like, because the Spirit's there, so obviously the Holy Spirit he's moving.
Yeah.
And so people are like, man, what is this feeling? What is this? Like, how do I, and then they're like, just come to the front, we'll pray over you, we'll give you a Bible, we'll give you like why Jesus is like a little pamphlet.
Yep.
And then boom, go from there, get them plugged in.
Wow,
That's
I
so
love
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love how people just want to know, like, okay, tell me how it worked for you. And they come.
Yeah.
And it's not even about knowing them.
No.
They just, they meet Jesus.
Well, they do, yeah.
And they feel his presence and they're just like, don't worry about the entrepreneurship anymore. Why am I feeling like this?
Exactly. People are hungry.
Yeah, that's right.
People are so hungry. People are lost, and people are just like, man, what's my reason for being here? What am I here for? Who am I? Who am I? Identity, And then they go, man, because everyone's trying to fill up that hole, that void.
Yeah.
That God-sized void.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to just fill it up with whatever.
Yeah.
So man, it's incredible.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. Well, we met David at Living Hope Church in Perth, in Western Australia. Shout out to you, Pastor Reg, if you're watching. He's a prophet. He works in the prophetic. He's a mighty man of God. He prophesied over Susan and I. But yeah, we were blessed to go to his church and meet you, man. But yeah, we just had a really good time. I was crying the whole time. I was like, the Spirit is just so strong in his church, and the worship is amazing.
And the community after.
The community,
as well.
yeah. And you have like a declaration, which was awesome as well. Yeah. And everyone reads out the declaration, and they say, hoo-ha.
Yeah, that's it,
Which is so good.
Yeah.
But obviously you're a Christian, you're a believer of Jesus.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your background before you found Jesus.
Yeah.
What happened?
Right.
Yeah.
So I grew up Catholic, and so that was the sort of household I got born into, and it was like my parents did the best they could, but it was definitely a bit of a dysfunctional family. So my dad was heavy on the antidepressants and pills and that type of thing, and he was in and out of hospital and getting taken away by the police, going to like mental hospitals and that type of thing. And then growing up there was definitely a bit of a I guess a lack of guidance from like a strong male role model, that type of thing. So I was a bit misguided, a bit lost, a bit sort of confused about life, and then just didn't really have too much of an identity. Also, I used to think God was like this angry guy that used to, like, every time I do something naughty, which was often, like he'd be like, nah, you're done for, mate, unless you confess your sins and say 10 Hail Marys and then run around the oval or something, like, just some crazy stuff. And then and so basically through that I was I was a little bit experienced a bit of like self-harm and just sort of because I had such an intense, like, just a self-hatred because I used to think I was just a piece of crap. That's pretty much, so. And then so with that, when I was 13, that's when I got back from a camp, and that's when my dad killed himself. And my mum was actually the one that found him. So it was intense. And so from that's where it was like a bubble sort of burst in me, and that's when I was very depressed, very confused, angry at God, like such an intense hatred towards God, because I was like, why would you let this happen to my dad?
Yeah.
And so I was just like, man, if that's what you're all about, stuff you, that type of thing.
Yeah. And
so that's where very self-destructive path. So I started getting involved in drugs, crime, and just sort of in and out of juvie, locked up, getting taken away, that type of thing, and just very, very broken, very lost. And like death, you know. I was in the kingdom of darkness, man, big time.
Lost a lot of hope.
Lost a lot of hope, no hope at all.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I mean, I lost my mum in 2012 and
Yeah.
I just thought, God, where are you?
Where are you? Yeah, yeah,
And mom was like my best friend.
Yeah.
And I just thought, where are you, God?
yeah,
Why didn't you, you know?
yeah,
She wanted to see me get married. She wanted to be around. Why did you allow this? You know, we kind of, if we don't know God, we're quick to, you know, blame him. We're very quick to kind of put him on a shelf and say, you're the bad man.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you did this, you know, and so I don't want any part of that anymore, you know. And then, similar story, man.
Yeah.
To you, but continue. Sorry.
But exactly. It's like what do they say? No Jesus, no peace, and then no Jesus, no, and then you'll know peace.
That's
you know?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, man, because it is like you get lost, you get confused, you get a bit like, what's the point of living if it's all just crap?
Yeah.
You know, and that's basically what it was.
Yeah.
Or you look to other things. You
look to other,
I stepped into the whole new age thing. Thinking, I'm going to get reincarnated. My soul's been around for years. You know, because I thought, God's the universe and God's everywhere and there is a God, because I couldn't deny that.
Yeah.
But I didn't want that God to be the God that loved me.
No.
And was the same God who was responsible for taking my mum, for example, you know?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Had a bad interpretation of Jesus, you know?
Yeah.
So,
just like a very blurry vision. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. And it was just very misguided. You know, using everything to sort of block the pain or block that sort of, you know, find some, find acceptance in the wrong crowd, that type of thing, with drugs, with alcohol, all that stuff. And just trying to block out everything. And then even like the belief, even like the lack of hope, like the belief I had in myself was like, I thought I was just going to get to 35 and kill myself. Like that's pretty much, I was just like, man, that's actually the lie that I was accepting for my life.
Yeah, well.
Because there was just no, you know, I didn't even see the point of living.
Such a deceiver then.
Oh, massive. Because that's what he wants to do. He wants to kill, steal, and destroy. So he wants to destroy us. He wants to steal from us, steal all our hope, steal all our peace, steal our life, you know, that destroy our life and then obviously ultimately kill us.
Yeah.
And so that's where I was. And then fast forward to 2017. So it was about 5 years, 5 and a bit years of just sort of bit destruction, you know. The last year or so, I started sort of just staying at home, smoking weed every day, just being a bum, not really doing anything, playing video games, just really just caught up in the wrong thing. And then through you know, experiencing like, you know, just I basically got on the meth one time and for about 6 months, but then there was one time where I got on the meth and I think I was telling you guys before, there's people have that God experience where they experience God and you know, the heavens open up, like, whoa, man, like, you know, that's incredible. And they have this peace. And mine was the opposite. So mine was God took his hand off and hell opened up. But that's what it took, because I was so stubborn and I was so like hard headed. That's what it took to wake me up.
And if you come face to face with the darkness, you cannot deny that there is a light.
You can't.
Because I've had a similar experience where I saw a lot of demonic things before I came to the Lord.
Yeah.
Like a lot of supernatural demonic things. And I was like, wow, okay, the devil's real.
If this is out there, then
God must be real.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And because with that Catholic upbringing, I was like, man, well, God's there. And so I was like, mate, this is real. And then that's when, you know, obviously I called up Peter, Lynn and James from Shalom House. And then that's when I called him up the first time and he's like, mate, you sound cooked. Go have a feed, go have a sleep and call me up once you've sobered up a bit. And then, but then I called him up that night or the next night and I was like, man, this isn't even about the drugs, man. This isn't about the alcohol. It's about like my spirit, man. I need to, you know, if I keep going the way I'm going to hell. Like, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, I want to be on the right side. Like that. Originally it was just out of fear. It was just out of fear, intense fear of God. I was like, man, I don't want to be on God's wrong side. Because if these things are here, if this is real, then God's real, and then that means I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
But then through that journey, if no one knows about Shalom, it's basically they give you a call, they say, come check it out, and we'll have a chat, and then they get you in that day, and they basically give you a choice. It's like, all right, you either start now or you bugger off. And then that's where, you know, I was like, okay, man, I I got to come in and you know, I was like,
They see how serious you are.
how serious? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Come in for a chat, and then it's like, oh, you're actually going into rehab right now.
yeah, shave your head,
Yeah,
give you a
yeah.
bed, that type of thing. Yeah.
If any listeners or viewers are wondering what Shalom House is, so it's a Christian rehab.
Yes,
run
yep.
by Peter, Lynn, and James.
Peter and
Mighty
James.
man of God.
Yeah,
Shout out,
massive,
Peter.
yeah. Yeah.
Shout out to you, man.
Yeah.
I remember Susan and I went to a family night there
Yeah.
when we were in Perth because Susan's mum lives in Perth, and I cried the whole service.
Yeah.
It was just the guy's just
Yeah.
he's in a singlet, full tats, shorts, thongs,
Yeah.
you know. But he's so anointed, man.
Yeah.
His ministry just has
Definitely.
the Holy Spirit resting,
Yeah.
you know, and he's changing so many people's lives. And
And the love that he carries, he really carries the love of Jesus.
Yeah,
Well.
he does.
He does. Yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
It's like such a passion, such a love. Yeah.
yeah. Tell us about your experience at Shalom House.
Oh, mate. So 2017, the 17th of the 7th, 2017 is when I went in there, and man, it was just it was intense. Like it was intense. It was so for the first, I reckon, 6 to 12 months, I was just learning about who Jesus was, and I was seeing these people that were talking about Jesus, talking about God, but in a loving way, in like a friendship. You know, like that intimacy. And I was like, man, how does that work? Like, I thought God was this guy in the sky that was like, you know, you're doing good, you're good, and I'll sort of let you off. But if you're doing bad, then you're, you know, lightning bolt you, that type of thing. And and then so man, I was like, man, like who is this Jesus? And then just, you know, hearing worship songs and just hearing like what he did for us and like that, the sacrifice and just the love that he had, the actual love and like, you know, that he. I was just like, for 6 months, I was just crying, you know, like,
So good.
It's intense. And I was like, man, like, you know, and yeah, it was just a journey of just feeling like actually accepting the love. I think for me, it's been a journey of accepting the love and actually believing that God actually loves me.
Yeah.
Because I had such a poor self-view and such a poor, like self-worth and self-value and identity that I didn't believe God would love someone like me. I was like, man, why would God like someone like me? Because I'm a piece of crap. That's pretty much what I used to think.
Yeah.
And then but then so the whole 3.5 years in there, it was hard. Like it was very hard. Like I was getting restarted. So basically, there's 5 stages of the program, and I just kept getting restarted, back to the start. But it was, but that's what built my character. That's what built my my dependence on God, because I was like, man, I don't know if I can do this without you, God. And I wanted to quit so many times, and I wanted to sort of just give up and just run off and just like, you know, but then like, you know, just pushing into God, realize like building that relationship and just building that like that like intimacy with God. That's what actually got me through.
Wow.
And then through that like that. I used to joke about I was like a wild horse. I had to get broken just so I could, like, you know, like the horses they got to get broken before they can get trained. So that was pretty much like me. I had to get broken, like because I was so stubborn, I was so like rebellious that I had to just you know I had to go through the like, you know, the
You had
intensity.
to almost get broken down so Jesus could put you.
So he could come back. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And but that was the journey, and it was just like just realizing who Jesus is. That revelation of just like, man, like God actually loves us. He wants to have a personal relationship with us.
Yeah.
That was unreal. That was massive.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just want to quickly ask something. So when did you start having this relationship where you were speaking to God and you were hearing from him, or you were feeling his presence, or he was like talking to you? Like, describe that. Do you remember the first time or roughly what that was like? Like, what was your experience going from not having a two-way relationship with God to then having a two-way relationship with God?
Right. So, going into Shalom, getting that foundation right, I guess. And then maybe it was about a year in or something like before, because I believe God was he was speaking to me through dreams, and he was speaking to me, but I didn't, it was almost like I didn't want to believe he was speaking to me because I was like, why would he speak to me?
Yep.
So I guess it was that. It was that was probably a big thing. So he was always speaking to me, like, you know, he's that still voice that's always saying, you know, giving you conviction or saying, you know, like speaking affirmations or speaking love. But it wasn't like So I guess that's been the journey. To answer your question, basically, I think it was like a year, maybe about a year.
Yep.
Yeah, until I started going, okay, like God's actually speaking to me, and he's actually, he actually because it took a fair while just to get that shame, to get rid of that shame. Even that's been the journey for me. I think just that, just that identity piece,
Yeah. I guess when was the first time I want to kind of ask a question here.
Go for it.
So when was the first time you actually surrendered it all to God?
Surrendered.
Yeah. Do you think it was when you contacted Peter, Lynn, and James, or you just at that point you're just like, I just need help, man?
So that was when I called him up, that was the day where I was like, okay, I gotta, I sort of gave up on that was when I was like, okay, man, yeah, I gotta do the right thing. I gotta come, I gotta go to God.
Yeah.
That was
because you were getting tormented, right?
very much so. Yeah, for days I was just getting terrorized, absolutely terrorized.
Were they like external voices in your head? Or was
yeah. So voice it's not even like it was my own voice in my head. You got that voice. Like it was actual other voices, and like I could see I could see transparent figures and that type of thing. Like
you saw different entities, right?
Yeah. So it was full on. Like it was pretty intense.
How long did that go for?
Oh, for 3 days.
3 days.
Three days or so, and then actually going into Shalom, that's when it stopped. That's when it stopped.
It quietened down the demons.
Yeah, definitely. And then going, but I was still in psychosis for a bit, and I was still sort of just tripping out, and obviously coming off the drugs and stuff. But man, yeah,
because it's pretty hard to get into Shalom.
Yeah,
it's not easy.
Yeah. No, it's not.
And when we went there for the family night, they shared how the phone's on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And there's only 2 people who have got this phone number.
Yeah.
And you call, and he just wants to know that you want it bad enough.
If you're serious or not.
If you're serious.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to waste anyone's time, trying to.
No, yeah.
I don't know. I'm speaking on his behalf now, aren't I? That's probably not right.
No,
but I mean,
I think I personally have worked in the drug and alcohol rehabilitation field for more than 7 years.
Yeah.
And a lot of people come in and out and they are not serious.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They come in, they go, they probably do rehab maybe 8, 9, 10 times.
Yep.
And even on the 10th time, they're not serious.
No.
So I think what Peter's doing is he's wanting to get people where they are at the place of desperation.
Yeah.
Because when someone is desperate and they've had enough, that's when they will surrender.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
They're not going to surrender when they think that life is great taking drugs.
No.
Because they're like, oh, I just want to break off the drugs. It's it's not a holiday house.
No.
Rehab's not a holiday house to have a break.
Or they want to get out of jail, that type of thing, and they want it to look good that they're going to rehab and they're getting their stuff sorted. But no.
Yeah. So it can be abused a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think it's Shalom is very much you come here and you let Jesus transform you.
Yeah.
Again, I'm talking on behalf of Peter.
I'm sure Peter might have. It is 100% true.
Yeah, but that's what I see from the people that finish the program. They're transformed.
Oh, definitely. Like, because you do get immersed. Like so from day one, you read your Bible in the morning. You do your personal devotionals, and then you do group devotionals. And then so Tuesday we got men's shed. That's more like just men worship night, and just sort of getting there. Just getting real vulnerable and just sort of sharing and get just breaking free from a lot of that stuff. And then Friday we go visit churches. Saturdays we have our own family night. Sunday we go to church. So it's very much involved in just basically the diluting the pollution. Because that's how you get rid of it. It's it doesn't just go away in one hit. It's like you got to dilute the pollution. That's basically how you get rid of the crap. You remove remove the lies with truth, and that's basically what we do. We get immersed, and then so you learn how to work. You learn how to actually function like a normal human being. Because some people, I didn't know how to function. Yeah, like it took a while just to get to like a base rate kind of human, like actually getting out in public, being sober. I was like, oh man, this is weird, This is
yeah.
And so because I used to not even be able to go out unless I was off my head. Like that's basically where I was at because I had such a low self-esteem. Like I couldn't even talk to anyone without being high or drunk. That's basically, and even then, like I was such a bad conversationalist, even the wall would probably walk away from me, you know. I couldn't talk to anyone. It's crazy. It was crazy, but that's just what So like going through there, that's where like because like you said, Susan, that you got to get to your bottom. Like it's the bottom of the bottom. That's because the only way to go from there is up.
That's right.
Exactly. So that's where it's like that's why he wants people who are at their bottom who are like, man, I can't keep going. It's either this or death. That's pretty much like it sounds intense, but that's pretty much where because that's where the I mean, even in a sense, in a Christian sense, like that seed needs to go on the ground and die basically to come back to life. And that's pretty much like our lives. Yeah.
Did you when you went in for an interview?
Yeah.
Obviously, you didn't know they were going to say right then and there, and that you're in the program.
Yeah.
Were you carrying any drugs or anything like that?
No,
you weren't. Okay.
I did have a little bit of pot at home.
Yeah.
And I had some like cigarettes and stuff like that, but no, I didn't have anything on me. I didn't even have a phone at the time. I don't think.
Oh wow, okay.
Nothing. I was just in my, I think I was in my like my track pants or something. I wasn't looking too. I wasn't too crash hot, because obviously I wasn't looking after myself. Yeah.
What else? It's such a surprise,
Yeah.
You'd go in there for an interview.
Yeah.
And at the end of the interview, he's like, all right, let's start.
Let's get it. Yeah. That's it. Because it's like.
And you go straight into the rehab.
Well, you have to. And the reason why he does that is because a lot of people, if they just said, okay, let's talk about it, and then, okay, come back in a couple of days, we'll get you in, then people will go, oh, I'll just have that last hoorah, or they'll have that they'll obviously get attacked because the enemy doesn't want you getting your life sorted. He doesn't want you in a relationship with Jesus. So he'll be like, he'll do everything he can to, he'll bring I remember there was one guy, he said, oh, just give me a day and I'll be back. And then this is literally what happened. Like an old friend from that he hadn't seen for 10 years just randomly rocked out of the blue with some drugs and said, oh, hey man, come on, let's go get on it. And then he ended up not getting, and that because that's how intense it is with the spiritual warfare. Because people who are like crazy on drugs or crazy, it's just misguided energy.
Yeah.
Like, it's just that misguided, and that's the enemy wants to use that for his kingdom. Whereas if that was just tapped into the kingdom of light, man, imagine how much impact that would create,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. There is definitely push from the enemy to try and stop God's plan.
Yeah, big time. But, obviously, because he's a defeated enemy.
Yeah, that's right.
He's already been defeated. He's just scratching at the thing, and and he's trying to obviously make us believe that he's not defeated and that he's more powerful than he is. But no, he's like Jesus. It's like how some people go, it's like a God and the devil are like on equal playing fields. It's like a mouse versus an elephant.
Yeah, that's right.
It's nothing. It's not. They're not even in the same league.
Yeah.
But obviously, he wants us to believe he is. Because he doesn't want us to believe that God's more powerful. He doesn't want us to believe in that power of God. He wants us to think that he's more powerful so that we can, that we're scared, we're fear. Because when you're in fear, you do all sorts of crazy stuff. You act out of fear and you act out of, I can't talk to this person, or I can't do this, I can't do that. And it's incredible.
Yeah, he tries to intimidate and deceive.
Big time.
It's like those are his two tactics, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And then if you fall into that trap, you end up having fear. And perfect love casts out all fear. That's what the Bible says, because Jesus is the perfect love.
100%.
There is no fear in him.
No, there isn't.
Oh, crazy. So when did you get baptized?
Christmas Day 2017.
Wow, come on.
Yeah,
Christmas Day.
So in the river. So in the Swan River, we went down there and there was that's where I got baptized by Pete. And man, it was incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just been I think so I through Shalom, because it was because it is such a fertile soil because it's such a place for growth, like especially spiritual growth. If you push into it,
if you press in,
then you will grow. And so through there, through going through there, it was that's where I grew, because I actually used to go to these prayer meetings on, I think it was Wednesday mornings or something. And what was actually a massive heart change was it was almost like not a vision, but like a thing where having instead, like a prostrate, like you're sort of kneeling sort of type thing. It was like that, but like in your heart, if you're kneeling in your heart, if you're kneeling on the ground and you're sort of putting your arms up and stuff, like that's all well and good. But if your heart's not right, then it's like, what does it mean? So if your heart's actually like in reverence to God, and you're actually like, man, and you have that understanding of God, I think that was a big thing for me.
Yeah.
Like knowing that if you, like when your heart's right and you're like, man, like, God, like, oh, like, yeah, I'm getting lost for words here, but it's like
that, almost that reverence for God in your heart.
Yeah.
Almost like, I know what you're trying to say.
Like, because I came from a place where it was all works based.
Yeah.
So if you look like you're doing good, if you look like you're getting out there and stuff, and then like you're the happiest, clappiest type of person, then they're the people that God respects. But it's actually like God. I mean, you think
it starts in here.
It starts in the heart.
It starts in the heart, and then it's almost your actions are just an outward expression of what God's doing in your heart.
Exactly.
I've had a similar experience where I tried to fix myself with Jesus on the outside and do all good things on the outside.
Yeah.
But then inside, I hadn't fallen in love with Jesus.
No. Yeah, definitely.
So I felt fake.
Yeah.
And it feels really fake.
It does, yeah.
And then when I fell in love with Jesus, I found that I actually didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
Like he did it.
It's
like
grace.
my life just changed.
Yeah.
My actions changed, but I didn't do anything. I just fell in love with Jesus.
Yeah.
So it's like a different.
Well,
it is different experience.
It's law versus grace.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Yeah, that's so true. I love that, law versus grace.
Yeah,
keep going.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, but that's exactly what it is. Exactly right, 100%. And so it just knowing that like we can't do anything to earn God's love. Like he already loves us the same. Like he loves us all. And the crazy thing is even the person that we might look at the guy on the side of the street, the guy who's like off his head on drugs or crazy or homeless or whatever, and God actually loves that person equally. He actually loves that person as much as he loves us, and it's incredible.
Yes.
And then it's like, it's like, man, can you explain that, God? Like, what's going on there? Like the most disrespectful person, God actually loves that person like as much as he loves us. So that's like, and it's like, so all we have to do is literally just believe God's promises, believe what God says about us, and believe that God is who he says he is, and that he actually does love us. He has a purpose for our life. He has he's got a plan, and then just go for it, and then just go, man, all right, let's look where we going, and just take me, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to ask a question.
Go for it.
Had you seen any like signs, wonders, any miracles after you got baptized, or even like from baptism up until now?
Yeah.
Like I know you said at the beginning, like God is providing financially, and you've seen miracles in that aspect.
Yeah.
Any other miracles in any other area of your life?
In my life, well, so even coming out of Shalom, just before I came out of Shalom, I met my wife, and then we actually, it was like, that was, for me, that's been a miracle. But then an actual, like a miracle, like a healing, we prayed for her mum who had cancer, and then like a couple of days later, they checked up on her and she didn't have cancer anymore.
Wow.
Praise God.
So she had I think they said she had breast cancer or something, and then so my wife was stressing out, and we're like, well, let's just pray for her, and let's just believe God's going to heal her, and then boom, and then they called up, they said, oh no, you haven't got cancer, it's all good, like we just started another check and you're all cleared,
Wow.
But even for me, like so just before I came out of Shalom, I met my wife, and then I think it was within a month or something, I said to her, okay, I had the ring and everything, so it was very quick, because I was like, hey, you're the one, let's go, that type of thing.
And how long?
A month, like
they
4
beat
weeks.
us.
Yeah.
I know. What was 6 months?
From when we met, from when we started dating and when we got married.
6 months? Okay, right. Okay. I think, so we met in June. No, we started talking in June, just coming out of lockdown over in Perth. And then July we met for the first time for coffee. And then, we just put it all out there, just say, yep, this is me. She said the same, like, this is my story, rah, rah. And then we just, we got to know each other over that next like month. And then I think it was August. the 30th on her birthday, that's when I said, hey, look, I've actually got a ring. I've had it for the last couple of weeks. I'm going to marry her. And she was like, who the heck are you, man? Like, I don't even know you, that type of thing. Like, and I was like, hey, we'll get to know each other. We'll get married. It's all good. We'll figure it out, But I was praying. Obviously, I was praying. Like, I was like, God, if this relationship isn't from you and this isn't going to be like a marriage that's blessed and if it's not going to be a marriage that's going to bring glory to your kingdom, to just shut it down, close the door, shut it down, that type of thing. And then, so like, man, we just got married. So August, I told her I was going to marry her, and then she was a bit like, how about let's just wait a little bit, just so the family doesn't think we're too crazy, that type of thing. and then November we got officially engaged, and then April the year after we got married, so 2021.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, and but like it was not because you guys 6 months from.
We were dating the same time you and your wife were dating.
Oh, so 2020?
June 2020.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
November
we got married.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Boom. Yeah, wow. Incredible.
But I guess that's a massive miracle, man.
Massive,
from someone who couldn't leave the house without being high.
Yeah.
Right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Being intoxicated with drugs.
Yeah.
To someone who, is a lover of Jesus and can be a father now and can be a husband, to a wife and lead his home, and bring wealth into his home as well, and this is what God has done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is your classic what God has done.
Yeah.
It's the transformation.
Yeah.
It's taking the heart of stone and putting one of flesh.
Yeah.
It's renewing of your mind.
Yeah.
And it all starts with surrender, man.
It does, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I love your story because if you never called Shalom House, right?
Oh man.
I mean, could you have done it without Shalom House? I don't know, right? But what was important there was the first step, and the first step was your heart to surrender, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
And God will use that. God will see, like, he anointed a young shepherd boy to be a king. And out of that seed will come the Messiah.
Yeah.
Just purely because of his heart was surrendered unto the God.
Yeah, exactly.
Did he make mistakes? Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Did he make some horrible mistakes? Yeah, he did. But was his heart right with God? Absolutely.
Yeah.
He loved the Lord, King David. And I think he was surrendered to God.
Yeah.
And I think for all of us, if we ever want to grow spiritually, we need to be surrendered to God.
And you got to have a repentant heart as well.
Yeah, of course. Repentant heart, absolutely. And just say,
big time,
I can't do this without you.
Yeah.
I've tried.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things that happened to me was I actually got half saved from Steve Harvey.
How do you get half saved?
Well, half saved, I mean, when I say half saved, I mean like I watched a video and that got me into Christ.
Right.
That got me to the point of surrender, right? I didn't accept Jesus as my Lord and Savior right then and there, but it got me to a point of surrender to God, to the Father. And I remember seeing a video on YouTube, and he was saying, "You think you can do life without God?" He said, "You're tripping."
Yeah.
He says, "You're tripping, man. You can do life without God, man. You tripping."
Yeah.
And he doesn't talk like that. I'm just trying to put on an accent, but
no, it's a good American accent.
and he says, "Really? Mm-hmm. Well, how's your life worked out for you so far?"
Yeah.
And when he said that to me, I was like, "I'm a mess."
Yeah.
I've tried my own way so many times and I've failed, mate. I've failed miserably.
Yeah.
And right then and there is when I surrendered, and God changed my life. But it's so important, the surrender aspect of it, and that's what Peter, Lynn and James wants, anyone who goes into his,
he does,
a massive surrender, to say, all right, I can't do life without God. I can't do life. I need help.
Yep.
I've tried my own way and I've made a huge royal mess of it, right? It's time for someone to step in and give me some guidance and help me out, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's when the transformation happens, man.
Yeah, humility, definitely.
Yeah. But that's so awesome, man. You prayed for, and that came with the authority you had in Christ.
Yeah, it did. 100%.
You have in Christ.
Well, because I mean, obviously going through Shalom, like with that identity, I didn't think I was going to ever have kids. I didn't think I didn't think a woman would ever love me. Like, you know, that's where I was like, it was actually been a dream since I was young, you know, like, man, I just want to have a girlfriend. I just want to have a wife. I want to have a family. That's always been a dream. That's always been a dream of mine. But then I didn't think I was worthy enough for that. I thought I was just going to die, you know? So when going back to like what blessings have I seen or what miracles, that that's a miracle for me.
That is a miracle.
Because I can look back at that every, you know, I can, like sometimes life can get busy, you know, and you can sort of get a bit carried away with, you know, being you know, like not high maintenance, but you know, when you just sort of like, okay, I've got to focus on this, and you can get sort of caught up in
your own plan.
Exactly. So even just taking a second and going, man, like looking back from where I was before to where I am now, that's the miracle for me. Because like, and like the thing is, God has done so much stuff. You can't even like we'd be sitting here talking for days, like talking about what He's done.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because it's incredible, and it's not because I'm special. It's just because that's the God we serve.
Because He's good.
Because He's good.
Not because we're good, but He's
no,
good.
exactly, and He does everything perfectly. Like even the way we met. Like, so we actually met on a website, Christian Connection, and so she was going to delete that day. Wow. And then we just started talking, and she's like, "Oh, if you, I'm about to delete it, like, just randomly, yeah. Oh, I'm gonna, do you want to add me on Instagram?" I was, "Oh, okay, yeah, no worries." And I didn't even have Instagram, but I did download it. So she was like, "Oh,
Instagram."
I created an Instagram just to talk to her. So she's thinking, "Oh, this guy, you know, he's a bit of, you know, he's a bit suspect. You know, what's this? He's gonna kidnap me or something, you know." And so she was like, "All right, we'll meet up, but in the daytime, you know, in the public, you know, so that way, you know, I can cry out for help." But then she was like, "Oh no, this guy, you know, he's all right. You know, he's pretty normal, like, you know, kind of." And then, but then that journey of like growing into that, and because obviously we're talking immaturity, so I didn't really have too many male role models. Peter's definitely been a male role model for me. Like he was like a father figure. He actually stepped in as a spiritual father big time, because then I could look at, okay, this is what a strong man looks like. This is what it looks like to be, you know, passionate about your life, passionate about faith, and passionate about, you know, your family, loving on your wife. That's, you know, and just incredible, because like the world says, oh, to be a man you have to be, you know, you got to be doing this, sleeping around. You got to be doing drugs. You got to be having that high lifestyle. You know, just cruising around.
Dan Balzerian life.
Yeah, you know, your cars and oh yeah, man, this and that. Oh yeah, you know, who gives a crap? You know, that type of thing. And it's all just rubbish. Right? It's all rubbish.
It leads to destruction,
big time. Because you end up becoming lost. You know, and you get so caught up in your rubbish that you just. You can't even, you know, you lose, like, it just, mate, you don't even know how to live anymore. You get so confused and so lost and so caught up in that web. It's just like, man. But then to actually like find out what it means to be a strong man, to live by your values, to live by your morals, to live by your, you know, help out your community, help out the people around you, love your wife, respect your wife, you know, and so growing through that it was just, so for me, it was a massive blessing, because I not only did I meet my wife, but she's been the most perfect woman for me. You know, like the perfect woman, and we've grown together. And the thing is, like, she's helped refine me, you know, and because we complement each other, you know, and that's exactly what a marriage is. It's like it's a partnership.
Yeah.
And it's a covenant. It's like you grow together. You spend the rest of your life, and it doesn't matter how many times you argue. It doesn't matter how many times, but if you keep Jesus at the center.
Come on.
It's just incredible. It's an incredible journey. And like your wedding day isn't the best day of your marriage, because if that was the case, then it's a boring marriage, you know. It's just like, what's going on, you know. But that's what people get caught up. Oh, it's going to be perfect, but it's actually the rest of your life together to grow and to learn and to like grow in intimacy, you know. And it's just a reflection on how God is with us, you know. We grow in that relationship, we grow in that understanding and in that knowledge, and it's just been incredible. Like, so like, you know, and then being blessed with a baby girl, and just even holding her and being like, man, like, you know, God is so good. Like even like sometimes it's hard to believe. Like I feel like sometimes I'm living in a movie, and it's not because, it's just because like it seems so foreign. Like even thinking about how I used to think, like my mindset back in the, like, you know, a couple of years ago. But looking, like, you know, just seeing my wife and seeing, because sometimes it's easy to get so caught up in what we don't have that we're not appreciative of what we do have.
Yeah.
And that's been a thing for me. So a journey for me is going from so originally it was identity. So identity of like who I am, whose I am, getting rid of that shame, because guilt is when you've done something bad and you're like, oh, I've done something bad, but then shame is when you're like, I am bad, and it's an identity. So that's where that was a big change for me. And then because obviously becoming a Christian wasn't all smooth sailing. It wasn't like oh sweet, I'm saved and all my sins and all my bad thinking, all my bad habits is all out the window. It's been a process. It's been a journey. But then growing through that from strength to strength, and I'm sure you guys can relate, man, because it's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you just go level more and more, like, and you're just like, mate, how good is God?
You're definitely speaking our language. I feel like we have a similar story to you and your wife.
No, exactly, yeah.
I mean, from the meeting, the dating, even our babies are 3 months apart.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So we can definitely relate. And we feel like from looking back at our wedding day, like I am so much more in love with Toby now.
Yeah.
Than what I was then.
Yeah, same.
And it's because Jesus is at the center.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's because of Jesus. I feel like Jesus chose Toby for me.
Yeah.
And Toby, I'm speaking on your behalf, but I feel like Jesus chose me for Toby, almost like handpicked.
Yeah.
For each other.
Well, it's 100%, and that's what he does, because he's perfect.
Yeah.
And he doesn't make mistakes.
That's right. He's just.
And if people realize that, because unfortunately some people they don't realize that, and then they go, oh, it's not working out, it's not this, it's not that, and then they get divorced, unfortunately, because you got all the statistics. But it's because there's a lack of understanding. It's a lack of that's all it is, a lack of understanding, a lack of connection.
Yeah.
And people think, oh, you're the problem, and they sort of take their eyes off them. They take their eyes off they basically blame everyone else for their problems, and they blame God and others, and then they just give up, Whereas knowing that Jesus is knowing that God is good and that He's got a plan and a purpose, knowing that He's everything's perfect from God, even if we can't see it.
Yeah.
It is like, you connect the dots back looking backwards, and that's where it's realizing, because Imogen, man, she's been the best thing. Like she's like you said, so like I love her more now than I loved her when we got married.
Yep.
And I'm gonna love her even more in 20 years than I love her now, because it's a more mature love.
Yes.
And it's like, man, like, because you actually see them for who they are, and you're like, man, like, it's incredible.
Yeah.
You're almost like, it grows because you go through seasons together.
You do.
And you grow together through those seasons. So that love naturally just matures, right?
It does, yeah.
And I feel like that's what our relationship with God is like as well.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I first came to the Lord and I was just so crazy in love with Him.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think I could ever love Jesus more than this.
It gets better.
But it's a different depth. It gets better because He is there through different seasons, through the thick and thin. Jesus is there, just like a marriage and a relationship.
Yeah.
And the love just grows deeper and deeper because you experience life. You do life with Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's so good. And I guess, as you said, He's perfect, right?
He's perfect,
and I remember part of when I surrendered, I said, God, you find me the right wife.
Yeah.
Because I tried with many women
to
get married, and it just never worked out.
Yeah.
And I said, all right, God, I'll have the house you want me to have. I'll have the job you want me to have.
Yeah.
I'll have the wife you want me to have, because I just can't do it on my own. I've tried. And 6 months I was married.
Boom. Yeah, he does. He's good, eh?
But when I look at my wife, every day I'm reminded how perfect God handpicked her for me.
Yeah.
And what I can say is this. I could have married someone else, right?
Yeah.
And she could have married someone else.
Yeah.
But sometimes
And just
I do some crazy stuff. When I say crazy stuff, like God's told me build an altar, in that room, paint it black, put scriptures all over the walls, And I just think God handpicked a woman who stands by me and says yes and amen with the Lord,
I love the crazy Jesus stuff.
Yeah, it's good.
So I'm all for it. I mean, at first I was like, that is a bit wild.
You're like, well, that's out there.
We have an altar at church, but okay. But I love it.
So like I want to share this. It's so hilarious. And this was definitely our idea. We didn't feel spirit led or anything like that. We just went. She was how many months pregnant?
I was due, I think, in 3 or 4. I think I was due in 3 weeks. So I was just over 8 months pregnant.
Yeah. And I leave my job because God's told me to leave my job. Anyway, it took me a year to do that, and that's a whole other story. But I leave my job, and it's like we're going to start doing these journals, and we're going to start kind of on this journey where we are now.
Yeah.
And I get this crazy idea, and I say, okay, well, I don't have work tomorrow, so let's just do something crazy. Let's go to the airport, and let's just ask God to send us somewhere, right? And we stayed there for like 3 or 4 hours.
We were there for 4 hours at the international airport. We packed a bag, and we're like, all right, the Lord's going to send us overseas somewhere.
Right.
And we just waited for our name to be called out or something.
No, we went to every desk with our passports.
I think we figured out that, no one's just going to come up to us and give us tickets. Like we've got to check in to get our tickets.
Let's not put God in a box. That could happen, 100%.
Okay, look, maybe.
It could. So we
went to every desk because I was like, what if there's tickets waiting for us? We just need to go claim them.
Yeah.
So let's step out in faith. Let's give our names and let's wait in line and get our boarding passes. So we went to every desk and they were like,
what flight are you on? We're like, we don't know. Okay.
Where's your destination?
Like, where are you going?
Where are you going?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah,
and they're like, what? And I'm like,
it's a mystery flight. Guys.
Yeah, we're like, it's a mystery flight.
Yeah.
A good friend of ours has booked it. We're just here to get the tickets. And they were like, oh, well, can you call your friend and ask
where you going?
where you're going? Yeah. And I was like, oh, it doesn't really work that way. Like,
and of course. Obviously, this is the Lord's protection. He's like, I love your faith, guys, but no. She's like about to be due in like 3 weeks. I'm going to send you on a mission field. No, maybe at another time. But
maybe another time. Yeah.
The whole point of this story is maybe if I married someone else, they'd be like, are you crazy? I'm not coming with you. I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
Toby, I'm pregnant. I'm about to pop any second and you want to go to the airport and randomly get God to take us on a mission trip. Are you all there? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But she's like, okay, cool, I'll pack a bag.
Let's go.
You know what I mean? And that's God can see she's not a woman for me just from 2015, for example, to 2020 for a season.
Yeah.
Right? Because she can rock with me. People can rock with you, man, for a season, bro.
Yeah, definitely.
They can rock with you for a season. And then when things change in their life and your life, they don't want to rock with you anymore, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But God sees this person's not a person who's going to rock for a season. Yeah. This person's going to rock with them for their whole journey of what I have planned for them, you know?
Exactly.
And that's the best thing about asking God for provision on something like this.
Yes.
Is that he's got the perfect answer and he's got the perfect solution and he's got the perfect provision for your life.
He does.
You know what I mean? But yeah.
God is good, eh? He's so good.
He's so good.
He's so good.
But that's a miracle, man. Like your life is a walking miracle, bro.
No, thank you. But it's all God.
Yeah.
Like it's all God. And like you said, it doesn't take like you don't have to be special. You just have to listen to God and you just got to go like, okay, yeah, I'm going to believe that you actually got something for me. I'm going to believe that my life can be better than it is.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, because you're not, obviously you're not going to always see it. You're not going to be like, oh yeah, tomorrow's like, it's like, it's a faith journey because you got to go, okay, I believe that it's going to be all right,
Yeah.
I believe that it's going to get better because there were some days where you're just like, man, I'm sure you guys can relate where it's like, man, am I ever going to get through this? Like, what's going on? You go through those dark seasons.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
You're like, man, like, is this ever going to, is this ever going to blow over? What's going to happen? Like, am I ever going to get out of this situation or whatever? And then like you just get through it and then you're like, man, like God is so good and he just grows in that understanding and and he does, like he's like you said, like people are with you for a reason, a season or a lifetime.
Exactly.
And it's just like because but then our partners that God puts in it because it's a marriage, it's a covenant, and
that's right.
It's a lifetime partnership.
That's right.
Lifetime partnership. So it's like, man, it's like, hey, let's.
It's not seasonal.
Of course, he's not going to pick someone who's going to be there for 3 or 4 years for a season. No. It's like, you're going to make a covenant with this. The covenant's for life. Yeah. So I'm going to pick the person for you if you allow me to provide for you.
Yeah.
And you seek me.
Yeah.
I'm going to find the perfect person for you forever.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
the grass isn't greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it.
That's right.
So, that's where it's like, hey, you just got to water it. That's why it's like, so, hey, people skills books, like Keep Your Love On. That's a great book by Danny Silk.
Okay.
I think it was I think he runs or he's one of the pastors at Bethel or something like that.
Yeah.
So like Keep Your Love On, love languages, and then just going, okay, God, like help me be a better husband, help me be a better wife, and it's just like, man, it's
surrender, it's humility,
surrender, yeah. Because Imogen, man, she's been perfect for me, She's like we've been like, and God, like I wouldn't have been able to pick her unless God, like God put her there.
So good,
yeah, because she's been like and then we've been so fortunate because coming out of Shalom, we were only married for about 2 months or 3 months before we stepped into the entrepreneurship community.
Wow.
So because and like and it was just like, so even that's been a bit of a journey because like I wasn't when I came out of Shalom I knew how to be a functional human being, but that was it.
Yeah.
I didn't know like I was still like obviously they taught me like how to function, how to have faith, how to have a relationship with God, how to sort of live and do that type of thing. But I was still pretty immature. Like I was still like, I didn't really I didn't know what it meant to have a relationship. I didn't know what it meant to be married and to have to look after someone,
lead your home, family.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I was like, man, like, and I was actually praying to God. I was like, God, I need some people in my life that can not only help me have some strong men to look up to, but also like, how am I going to provide financially? I was like, I was like, man, like, how am I going to do this? And then literally 3 weeks later, that's when I met my mentors.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. Just through mutual friends. They're like, hey, they're telling me, hey man, we're like, like we're connected to these successful entrepreneurs and they've been, financially independent for 20 something years and, rah. And I was like, all right, get me onto them. I need mentorship. I didn't even know there was a financial side to it. Yeah. And then when they told me, oh yeah, we disrupt the e-commerce space but we focus on leadership and mentorship and personal development. I was like, man, this thank you God. Like
this is what I needed.
This is what I needed. And then so growing in that in my leadership and learning how to actually even like communication, that's a big one. Like learning how to communicate and learning how like different personality traits, like different personality types. That's a big one because sometimes you think, oh, everyone should be like me, and if they're not like me, then there's a problem with them. What's going on? But then you're like, well, hang on. Everyone relates differently. Everyone's got different love languages.
Yeah.
Like there's like quality time, and there's like what is it? Affirmations and physical touch and then gift giving and all that and
acts of service. Yeah.
Acts of service, and it was like, man, like it's just incredible. But that's
people relate different. Yeah.
But God, that's because God's made us so unique. He's made us so he's made us so different. And that's why it's like, man, like because we're all the same part of the body. Like we're just different. I mean, we're all part of the body. We're just different parts.
That's right.
But we all play like a pivotal role.
That's right.
Big time.
Yep. We need each other.
We do, and that's why because that's the thing. Like we're meant to go from dependency to independency, and then from independency to interdependency, where we work with other people together in unity. And that's exactly how the church is meant to work.
Well, that's right.
Exactly. Like you got people that are serving, you got people that are preaching, you got people that are you are providing, like financially. You got people that
kingdom
building, and that's what it takes. And it's incredible. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah.
If you were to tell someone who was where you were at with the voices hitting rock bottom or perhaps getting to that place, if you were to tell them something to encourage them now, what would be the one thing, for example, you wish someone would have told you? Yeah.
Well, I think for me it would be, you don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. So it's like it doesn't matter where you've come from, it doesn't matter what you've done, it doesn't matter how bad you think you are, how much it doesn't matter how far from God you think you are, it doesn't matter how oh, no one's gonna say I'm so crap and all. It doesn't matter what you think about yourself. It's just if you want better, all you got to do is believe that you can. Believe in God. Believe, trust, and just get started. It doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter how many times you stuff up. It doesn't matter how many times you stumble, you fall. You could even relapse before you fall. You could even whatever it is that's keeping you down or keeping you locked up or whatever. You just got to keep getting back up. You got to keep get back up, and not quit.
Yep.
Quitting, because obviously quitting is how you lose. That's the only way to lose. And with God, the only way to lose is to give up and to just quit.
Yeah.
He never gives up on us. He never quits on us. But if we quit on ourselves and we quit on God, that's the only way. And even then, he's still there like the prodigal son, like, hey, I'm here for you, man. And he runs to us.
Yeah.
You know, and he takes us back at like, you know, like that, you know, just like the man. And so just to get started, if you want to get started, just find someone who you can actually like, I guess find someone who's got the fruit on the tree. Someone who you can actually, okay, I want to listen to this person because they got what I want, and just to follow them, ask them questions, and just get started, and just and know that there's actually power in vulnerability.
Yeah,
you know, we don't have to all have our crap sorted together. You know, we all got problems. Everyone's got problems.
Yeah,
no one's perfect. Not even you might look at someone and be like, this guy's got his stuff together. He's all well put and all this stuff, but man, that guy's got problems. He's thinking about whatever he's thinking about. So it's just realizing that no one's perfect, but God is perfect. So just, you know, just go for it, you know?
Yeah, awesome.
That's so good. That's so good. Well, thanks for coming down.
Well, thanks for having me. Yeah.
It's so awesome that you've got this leadership mentor program, entrepreneurship program in Melbourne, which gave us an opportunity to catch up.
Yeah.
You got to come to our home.
Yeah.
We got to break bread this morning and
I appreciate it.
And show you our home and have you on the podcast.
Yeah. No, thank you so much.
And have you share your amazing testimony of what God has done.
No,
so I want to champion you, man. I want to say thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep building the kingdom, man. Keep seeking Him, and thank you very much.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
Coming in on the show.
Thank you.
If you like this content, and you would like to see more of this content, we want to say thank you for watching. Just click the subscribe button, smash it down, hit that bell, and we'll keep bringing you content like this. Thanks for watching. We love you guys, and we'll see you next time on What God Has Done.